Welcome back to the channel, Valuable Coins HD, coin collectors and treasure seekers. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history that often goes unnoticed, the 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. Yes, that small, shiny coin that you might have in your pocket could actually be a hidden gem worth a small fortune. Stick around, because we'll explore its origins, unique features, and why some of these dimes can fetch astonishing prices on the collector's market. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of U.S. currency since its introduction in 1946. Honoring Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd president, this coin replaced the Mercury dime and quickly became one of the most widely used coins in circulation. Known for its timeless design featuring Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, the dime has endured decades of everyday use with a consistent appearance. Now, 1987 was not a particularly remarkable year for the dime at first glance. The vast majority of dimes minted that year were standard-clad coins, composed of copper and nickel. But what makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime truly extraordinary for collectors is a very rare silver variety that came about due to a small number of dimes being struck on silver planchets. Silver dimes in the modern era are not meant for circulation, they're typically reserved for special proof sets or collector's editions. However, in 1987, a handful of silver blanks mistakenly entered the production line, resulting in the striking of Roosevelt dimes with silver content, a true anomaly. These silver Roosevelt dimes from 1987 are not only rare but highly sought after due to their composition and unusual origin. Collectors love these silver dimes for several reasons. First, the intrinsic value of silver itself provides a base level of worth, which is higher than the typical clad dime. But beyond just the metal content, the rarity and mystery behind how these silver dimes entered circulation add a compelling narrative that enhances their desirability. Unlike many other coins, these silver Roosevelt dimes are both a fascinating error and a valuable collectible. Another critical factor that affects their value is the condition of the coin. As with all numismatic pieces, the grading scale, from circulated to pristine mint condition, plays a huge role. The more flawless and well-preserved a silver Roosevelt dime from 1987 is, the more it's worth to collectors. Coins that still have their original luster and show no signs of wear command premium prices, especially when verified by professional grading services. Moreover, these silver dimes often come with mint marks indicating their origin. The D for Denver and the S for San Francisco prove particularly interesting since some silver planchets were more likely to be used in certain mints, leading to additional collector intrigue. Every tiny detail adds layers to the story of each individual coin. Over the years, these rare silver Roosevelt dimes from 1987 have surfaced sporadically in coin shops, estate sales, and private collections, creating waves of excitement in the numismatic community. Some lucky finders have struck gold, or should we say silver, by uncovering one of these gems in a bundle of change or an old collection. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, the value. While common 1987 Roosevelt dimes carry face value or just a few cents on the collector's market, the rare 1987 Roosevelt silver 1 dime in excellent condition can command prices that will blow your mind. A perfect or near-perfect example of this coin has recently been appraised and auctioned for an astonishing $160,000. Yes, a single dime from 1987, accidentally struck on silver and preserved beautifully, has been worth a staggering $160,000. It's a shining example of how even the smallest coins can hold immense value if you know what to look for. So, if you have a collection of coins sitting around or even a few dimes in your pocket, it might be worth giving them a closer look. You never know, you could be holding a piece of numismatic history worth a fortune. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and sought-after pieces in American numismatics, the 1980 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. At first glance, it looks like your everyday dime, but this tiny coin holds a secret that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. Stay tuned as we explore the history, unique features, and astounding value of this rare silver dime. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end to find out just how much one of these special dimes can be worth today. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946, honors the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Known for its iconic design featuring Roosevelt's profile on the front and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the back, this dime has become one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. Normally composed of a copper-nickel clad, Roosevelt dimes were minted in massive quantities for decades, making most of them quite common and inexpensive, that is, until you stumble upon a silver version from 1980. Now, you might be wondering, how did a silver dime come into existence in 1980, when the U.S. Mint had long stopped producing silver coins for circulation? Well, here's where the story gets interesting. A very small number of Roosevelt dimes from 1980 were mistakenly struck on silver planchets, that is, the blank metal discs intended for silver-proof sets or collector's editions. Due to an error in the minting process, these silver blanks found their way into the regular circulation minting line. This mistake created an extremely rare and valuable coin that's now a prized possession for collectors and investors alike. What makes this 1980 silver dime so special is not just the rarity of the silver planchets used, but also the quality and condition of the coins. Because these dimes were not meant for circulation, many have survived in near-perfect condition with their original silver sheen still intact. Coins that are uncirculated or graded as mint condition command significantly higher prices, as collectors place immense value on preservation and appearance. Another detail that adds to the allure of these coins is the mint mark, usually found on the obverse side near Roosevelt's neck. The 1980 silver Roosevelt dime may carry a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, with the silver varieties typically linked to the San Francisco Mint due to its involvement in proof coin production. This tiny letter is more than just a mark, it's a key identifier for collectors to verify the coin's origin and authenticity. Over the years, stories of lucky finders uncovering these silver dimes in rolls of change, old coin collections, or even forgotten drawers have made headlines. Each discovery reignites excitement among collectors and pushes the value of these rare coins even higher. It's a thrilling reminder that sometimes, extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary places. The combination of historical significance, minting error, and the precious metal content makes the 1980 Roosevelt silver one dime a standout in the numismatic world. It bridges the gap between a beloved everyday coin and a precious collector's item, embodying both heritage and rarity. Now, for the moment everyone's been waiting for, the value of this incredible coin. While most Roosevelt dimes from 1980 are worth just their face value or a few cents, the silver varieties are a whole different story. In excellent, certified mint condition, a 1980 Roosevelt silver one dime can command an impressive price, one that many collectors dream of. This rare silver dime has been known to sell for up to $120,000. Yes, a single dime from 1980, accidentally struck on silver and preserved in pristine condition, can be worth $120,000. It's a shining example of how even the smallest coins can become some of the most valuable treasures when history and rarity align. So, if you're a coin collector or simply curious about what might be hiding in your pocket change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You could be holding a piece of American history that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're uncovering a true numismatic treasure, the 1974 Roosevelt silver one dime. You might think a dime from the 1970s is just another everyday coin, but this particular silver dime tells a story of rarity, minting quirks, and incredible value that can turn any casual collector into a serious treasure hunter. Stick around as we explore what makes the 1974 silver Roosevelt dime so special and why it's worth far more than its face value. At the end, I'll reveal just how much one of these rare coins can be worth, and trust me, the number will surprise you. The Roosevelt dime has been a beloved fixture in American coinage since its introduction in 1946. Designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, it features his dignified profile on the front and a symbolic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the back, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Typically, Roosevelt dimes from the 1970s were struck on a copper-nickel clad, which is why millions were produced and circulated widely, making them common and not particularly valuable, or so it seems, but hidden among those countless coins is a rare exception, the 1974 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet. This wasn't a standard production coin but rather a minting anomaly. During that era, silver coins were mainly confined to proof sets and collector editions, and the U.S. Mint no longer produced silver dimes for circulation. However, a handful of silver blanks accidentally slipped into the normal production line and were struck as regular Roosevelt dimes. These coins are extremely rare and coveted because they are essentially silver dimes masquerading as circulation coins. The rarity of the 1974 silver Roosevelt dime is compounded by its condition. Since these silver dimes were never intended for widespread use, many of the few that exist have survived in remarkable, near-mint condition, exhibiting the bright, lustrous shine of silver. Collectors prize these coins especially when they are certified as high-grade by professional grading services, which can dramatically boost their market value. Additionally, mint marks add an extra layer of interest to the story. The 1974 silver dimes often bear the S Mint mark, indicating they came from the San Francisco Mint, where many proof and collector coins were produced. This mint mark helps authenticate the coin's origin and is essential for collectors when verifying a coin's legitimacy. Finding one of these silver Roosevelt dimes from 1974 is like uncovering a secret slice of numismatic history. There have been numerous exciting stories of enthusiasts discovering these rare coins in change rolls, old collections, or even tucked away in forgotten coin jars. Each discovery ignites excitement and raises awareness of how valuable such a seemingly ordinary coin can be. What makes these coins even more fascinating is their combination of historical significance and rarity due to minting errors. They stand out as a unique category that collectors dream of owning: silver coins that look like circulation coins but are actually special, error-struck pieces. So, what's the value of this hidden gem? While regular 1974 Roosevelt dimes are worth only their face value, the rare silver varieties tell a very different story. In outstanding condition, these silver dimes have been known to fetch prices that make coin collectors' jaws drop. A 1974 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, especially one in pristine condition and verified authenticity, can be worth a staggering $110,000. Yes, that's right, a single dime from 1974, struck on silver by accident and preserved beautifully, can be worth $110,000. It's a perfect example of how small coins can hold massive value when rarity and history collide. So next time you're sorting through your coin collection or checking your pocket change, keep an eye out for that gleaming silver shine. You could be holding a remarkable piece of American coinage worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1991 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. At first glance, this might look like just another dime from the early 90s, but beneath its modest exterior lies a story of rarity, minting mystery, and incredible value that has collectors buzzing. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone curious about coins, you're going to want to stick with me through this video because by the end, I'll reveal just how much this rare silver dime can be worth, and the number is truly jaw-dropping. The Roosevelt dime is a cornerstone of U.S. coinage, first introduced back in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt's legacy. Known for its classic design, Roosevelt's profile on the front and the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, this dime has been a staple in everyday transactions for decades. Typically, by the time 1991 rolled around, Roosevelt dimes were produced using copper-nickel clad compositions, which made them fairly common and generally only worth their face value. However, an extraordinary twist came with the 1991 Roosevelt dime. A very limited number of these coins were accidentally struck on silver planchets. What exactly does that mean? Normally, silver dimes had not been minted for circulation since the mid-1960s, reserved mainly for collectors' proof sets or special issues. But due to a rare minting error, some silver blanks, the metal discs intended for these special sets, ended up in the production line for regular circulating dimes. The result? A handful of genuine silver Roosevelt dimes minted in 1991, indistinguishable at first glance but infinitely more valuable. What makes the 1991 silver Roosevelt dime so captivating is not just its scarcity but also the silver composition itself. Unlike the standard copper-nickel clad coins, these dimes contain 90% silver, giving them a distinct, brilliant sheen and a heavier feel. This silver content alone sets them apart and adds intrinsic value beyond just collector interest. And since they weren't meant for circulation, many surviving examples remain in superb, almost pristine condition, a dream find for any coin collector. Another fascinating aspect is the mint mark. These rare silver dimes generally bear the S Mint mark, indicating the San Francisco Mint, which was heavily involved in producing special proof sets and collector coins. This little letter holds a big key to verifying authenticity and is a critical detail collectors look for when identifying these silver dimes. Stories abound of collectors discovering these rare silver 1991 dimes in rolls of circulated coins or inherited collections, sending waves of excitement through the numismatic community. Every find is like striking gold because it's proof that remarkable treasures can sometimes be hiding in the most unexpected places. Your own pocket change. So why do collectors value these coins so highly? It's the combination of a minting error, the precious metal content, and the limited number that makes the 1991 silver Roosevelt dime a holy grail among modern coins. They symbolize the rare moments when human error turns an everyday object into a priceless artifact. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the value. While a standard 1991 Roosevelt dime might only be worth a few cents, the silver version commands a completely different price bracket. In top condition, certified by grading experts for authenticity and quality, these silver dimes have been known to sell for astonishing sums. A 1991 Roosevelt silver 1 dime in excellent condition can fetch a whopping $100,000. That's right, a single dime, minted just over 3 decades ago, struck on silver by mistake, can be worth $100,000. It's a perfect reminder that sometimes the most ordinary coins have extraordinary stories and values hidden beneath the surface. So next time you're sorting through coins, don't overlook the 1991 Roosevelt dime. If you find one with that unmistakable silver gleam and the right mint mark, you could be holding a genuine treasure. Today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and valuable modern U.S. coins, the 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime. This isn't just any dime. This is a coin wrapped in history, unexpected rarity, and a touch of minting mystery that has made it one of the most talked about coins among serious collectors. If you're someone who's ever dug through your pocket change, flipped through an old coin album, or inherited a dusty jar of coins, what we're about to uncover may change the way you see the smallest coin in your hand. Let's begin by setting the stage. The Roosevelt dime has been a mainstay of U.S. coinage since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who helped lead the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The coin's design is simple but iconic, Roosevelt's profile on the front, and the reverse showcasing a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now, here's where things get interesting. By 1965, just 2 years before our focus year of 1967, the U.S. Mint officially stopped producing circulating coins with silver. Rising silver prices had made it too expensive to continue minting dimes, quarters, and half dollars with silver, and so they were replaced by a clad composition, copper at the core with a nickel coating. From that point on, silver coins were supposed to be a thing of the past when it came to general circulation. However, the coin world is full of surprises, and the 1967 Roosevelt dime is one of them. Somehow, against all odds, a few Roosevelt dimes minted in 1967 were struck on leftover silver planchets, the same kind used before the 1965 switch to clad coins. Whether it was an oversight or a strange minting anomaly, these rare silver dimes were produced and quietly entered circulation. They look almost identical to the common dimes from the same year, making them incredibly easy to overlook. But for those who know what to look for, these coins are pure gold. Well, silver, you might be asking, how can you tell if you have a 1967 silver dime? First, check the coin's edge. Clad coins show a distinct two-tone color with a visible copper stripe along the edge. Silver coins, on the other hand, have a uniform silver color all the way through. If you have a 1967 dime and the edge looks solid silver, that's your first clue. Second, weigh the coin. Clad dimes weigh about 2.27 grams, while silver dimes from earlier years weigh around 2.50 grams. That slight difference can mean a world of value. Of course, to confirm your coin's authenticity, it's always best to have it professionally graded and tested, especially if you suspect it could be one of the few rare silver strikes from that year. Another fascinating twist? Unlike other years, 1967 dimes have no mint mark. This was a result of the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed mint marks from coins for several years to discourage hoarding. That means identifying a silver 1967 dime relies purely on its physical composition, not where it was made, but how it was made. The 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime represents a moment of transition in U.S. coinage, and it's those transition periods that often result in the rarest and most collectible coins. It combines the legacy of silver coinage with the accidental creation of a modern rarity, and that's what makes it so incredibly valuable to collectors. Only a tiny handful of these silver 1967 dimes are known to exist, making them one of the ultimate finds in modern U.S. coinage. Imagine stumbling upon one in a forgotten coin roll, or buried in your grandparents' coin collection. It has happened before, and it could happen again. Now let's talk value. While a regular 1967 dime might be worth 10 cents, maybe a little more to a collector if it's in mint condition, the 1967 Roosevelt silver 1 dime, when authenticated and preserved in top condition, has stunned the coin world with its incredible market value. One of these extraordinary silver dimes has been valued at a jaw-dropping $150,000. That's right. A 10-cent coin, struck by mistake in silver during a time when silver was supposedly off the table, can be worth $150,000 in the right hands. So don't underestimate the change in your pocket. That plain-looking dime could be hiding a rare secret from history, and might just be your ticket to a six-figure fortune. If you found this story as thrilling as we did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible coin discovery. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting.